Right now at 6, there's a push to bring mental health services to those who need them, especially those living in rural areas. And when it comes to organic farming, Wisconsin is playing a pretty important role, the future of this industry in our state. And a busy day for both major political parties as the president and Democratic hopefuls get ready for the 2020 presidential campaign.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 6. More than half of adults who need mental health services in our state aren't getting them, according to the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. That's even more pronounced outside major cities. Our Madeline O'Neill has more on how a University of Wisconsin-Madison program is training nurses to better serve rural communities.
In a rural setting, everybody knows everybody.
Trina Ford knows. She spent more than 20 years living and working in northern Wisconsin, for some time as a nurse practitioner.
I was back caring for patients whose primary needs were mental health.
Ford says most of the time her community didn't have the proper resources to address that.
So this was happening over and over again. And then I was reflecting back on what I want to do when I grow up, and I came to the realization that mental health is really what I want to do.
She entered a psychiatric mental health care certificate program at UW-Madison School of Nursing, which allowed her to stay working full-time in Rhinelander while learning much-needed skills to use at home.
If we only teach things from one perspective, perhaps from the city like Madison that we live in, you're losing a whole segment of our state that we're trying to serve.
A predominantly rural state in which clinical professor Gina Bryan says the majority of counties have a shortage of mental health care resources. Bryan, who runs the mental health care certificate program here at UW's nursing school, says keeping most classwork online and arranging clinical rotations outside Madison and throughout the state makes a difference.
When healthcare providers learn in communities such as rural communities, underserved areas, they fall in love with those communities and are much more likely to go back and serve in those areas. The more intimately knowledgeable providers are about the communities they're serving in, the better they can tailor services.
It's been a life changer for me.
Although she just left northern Wisconsin, Ford says she's learned when practicing mental health care, knowing your community and everybody in it can be a good thing.
So I think you can get a sense of belonging and a sense that you can make a big difference not only with those patients but within a small community.
In Madison, Madeline O'Neill, Fox 47 News at 9.
The Psychiatric Mental Health Certificate is an 18-month capstone program for licensed nurses with a master's degree. Students take one trip to Madison per month for in-person classes, but can do the rest of their work remotely. Farmers from around the country are trying to figure out the future of organic farming. They met in La Crosse last month to attend a special organic farming conference. Industry leaders expect Wisconsin to continue to be a leader in organic farming. Pew Research data shows Wisconsin has the second highest number of organic farms in the country, just behind California. National weather predictions suggest southwestern Wisconsin will see high waters this spring. The weather agency in La Crosse has forecast an above normal flood risk along the Mississippi River and its tributaries through May. Employees say the deeply frozen ground and snow could cause more runoff in the area. The severity of the flooding will depend on how quickly the snow melts and how much rain the region gets over the next few months. Well, the thought of spring sounds pretty nice right about now, Dana, but it doesn't look like that snow is going to melt at least anytime soon.
It really doesn't, Amanda. In fact, our temperature is expected to just drop for us over the next few days. We're really in for a blast of cold air coming through. Of course, this morning we did pick up just a little more snowfall. In Reedsburg, about 2 inches. Notice 1.5 inches right around the Madison area, and then in Marshall and North Freedom, close to 1 inch of snow. So not a lot, but just a nice little fresh blanket outside for us this morning. I see some rabbit tracks over there, and you can only see that when you have the fresh snowfall. So looking out right now, of course, everything nice and bright and white. Sunset was just a little bit ago. Right now we're at 23 degrees. But there is just a light breeze coming from the north-northwest, about 5 miles per hour, so it feels a little closer to 17. That's in Madison. Also in Lone Rock and Janesville, close to 17 as far as that wind chill goes, and in Platteville a little closer to 23. Right now, 17 sounds cold, but for tomorrow morning, do know that temps are going to drop even more. We have a clear sky for us overnight. We're expecting our temps to fall into the single digits, and by tomorrow morning, our wind chills will be well below zero. Alert days are in the forecast for the next few days, but we'll talk about why in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dana. 2 Sacramento police officers will not face criminal charges in last year's deadly shooting of an unarmed black man that brought nationwide protests. Today, the Sacramento County DA announced the officers did not break any laws when they shot Stephon Clark after the 22-year-old ran from them into the backyard of his grandparents' house. The officers said they thought Clark had a gun, but investigators only found a cell phone. Sacramento has been bracing for protests like this one from last year ahead of the decision, with business owners warned by a business association and state government workers told by legislative officials in recent days to stay away from downtown, at least through the weekend. The next presidential race is a little less than 2 years away, but President Trump was in full campaign mode during a speech at the CPAC convention in Maryland. CPAC hosts supporters and activists in the Republican Party. The president pleased the crowd with his criticism of what he calls the liberal embrace of the Green New Deal.
This is the new Democrat platform and I don't want to talk them out of it.
Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Bernie Sanders had his own criticism for the president at the first rally of his 2020 election effort. He addressed the crowd in the Brooklyn neighborhood where he grew up.
My experience as a child living in a family that struggled economically powerfully influenced my life and my values.
Sanders is one of 11 people already running for the Democratic nomination, with more still considering whether to join the race. One of the biggest names still considering a run for is former Vice President Joe Biden. He said this week that his family has signed off on him running for president if he chooses to do so. Police have charged a man from Sullivan with his 4th OWI charge after he drove into a ditch. 31-year-old Daniel Strang was driving along State Highway 26 near mile marker 10 in Rock County just after midnight when he lost control of his vehicle. Police say he walked half a mile away from his car before they found him. They say he then failed a sobriety test and officers arrested him for operating while intoxicated. Police say distracted driving and snowy conditions also played a role in this crash. A student at Madison West High School was arrested for bringing a BB gun on school grounds. The school's resource officer was told the 16-year-old had the gun on him Friday afternoon. The teen was cited and arrested and then released to his mother. There's a way you can help out the Dane County Humane Society by going shopping. The shelter opened a thrift store on Grand Canyon Drive, formerly their satellite adoption center. The grand opening celebration began yesterday and will continue until Monday, March 10th with special deals and raffles. Weekend shoppers can also meet adoptable animals. It's been a very long winter, especially for kids stuck inside. We're sharing one way to beat cabin fever this weekend, and there's something we use every single night or day, depending on your sleep schedule. It's sheets, and they come with all sorts of different price tags. Consumer Reports tested some to find out which ones last the longest when News 3 Now at 6 returns. They are something we use every single night or day, depending on your sleep schedule. And sheets come with all sorts of different price tags. Consumer Reports tested some to find out which ones last the longest.
Soft sheets are a pleasure to sleep on, unless the corners keep coming off and your mattress is exposed. What if you paid over $200 and your sheets shrunk this much? Consumer Reports bought multiple brands of cotton sheets from frugal to fine. Then its expert testers first put the fitted sheets through a strength test, pushing the fabrics and their seams to their limit. Then they checked to see whether they fit foam and spring mattresses of different depths, 8, 10, 14, and 18 inches. And then they were washed and dried, 25 times to replicate a year's worth of laundering. Samples cut from the sheets were measured before and after washing. The results were surprising. After 15 washings, testers couldn't get this queen set from Casper to fit on any of the mattresses. And these sheets by Pinzon, ordered from Amazon, were also tough. It took a lot of effort to get the four corners over the edges of any of the mattresses. What about high-end expensive sheets? The Porto sheets from luxury brand Frite fit all but the thickest mattresses well, with little shrinkage. The queen sheets from Matuk fit excellently on all mattress sizes. Although they're pricey, these are the only sheets tested that fit an 18-inch mattress after a year's worth of washings, and the fabric was strong, so they could save you money over the long run. The LL Bean Prima Percale sheets fit the mattresses up to 14 inches well, little shrinkage after 25 washes. They got excellent marks for strength and are Consumer Reports' best buy. I'm Chris Lewinberg, News 3 Now.
Well, some good news. Consumer Reports found that the softness of the sheets from what you feel in store to 25 washes later, that stayed the same. It's a weekend full of fun and learning at the Alliant Energy Center. We are sharing all of the different options for families considering going to the Madison Kids Expo. Next at 6.
And our temperatures are about to drop quite a bit. We're in for a very cold start to next week. We'll take a closer look at your forecast.
Welcome back. Local kids and parents got a bit of a cure for cabin fever today. The Madison Kids Expo at the Alliant Energy Center had everything to entertain kids, from a petting zoo and performance stage to bouncy houses and pony rides. Kids could also sit in a fire truck and break boards using a martial arts technique. For parents, it was just good to get out of the house.
It's so awesome to get out here today with all the snow days and just being home and an end of February blues that everybody has.
The Kids Expo continues tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. The end of February blues. I think a lot of us over here have that, but winter continues, it seems.
It does. Of course, we've started meteorological spring, although it certainly still feels like we're stuck way back in January. Things look okay downtown right now, but if you're stepping outside, it's a little cool for us. And in fact, as we look ahead to your Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, it's only going to get colder outside. Good news, though, our Doppler track is calm. We picked up about 1.5 inches of snow this morning in Madison. We're not expecting any more snowfall to come through tonight. So our focus shifting from snow to just cold weather moving in for us, and it really is going to get cold. We're kind of sandwiched. Low pressure off to the east, high pressure ridging through the west and the plains. That's giving us a really strong northwest flow. Not too strong of a breeze, but notice the temperatures throughout the plains and the upper Midwest. Expecting a really cold start to Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And Madison included right on in that. Overnight, we'll see just a few clouds. We'll fall to about 5 to start off the morning. Again, that's actual temperatures. And of course, you factor in the wind chill. It'll feel a little closer to 5 to 15 below early in the day. In the afternoon, our high temps will be in the mid to low teens for us throughout southern Wisconsin. Again, that breeze still coming from the northwest. It doesn't shift at all as we head into Monday morning. We'll fall below zero for our actual temperatures. The record low for Monday is 9 below, and we're forecasting for 10 below to start off. So near record-breaking temps, potentially breaking that record for us. And then by the afternoon, we're only going to climb to 7. So our wind chills staying below zero throughout the day on Monday and throughout the day on Tuesday. We don't finally get a break in this cold until we get into Wednesday. So looking at our wind chills, as I mentioned, that cutoff there for the cold air, really anywhere southeast of Madison, we'll be experiencing colder air down towards Illinois into Indiana. But into Minnesota and northern Wisconsin, really expecting a brisk start to Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. It's going to feel like we're about 15 below early on Sunday. By Monday morning, we're expecting anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees below zero for our wind chills. So we're back to that stage that we had a few months ago. Please bundle up early on for the next few days. And then by Monday afternoon, it still feels like we're about 16 degrees below, even though actual temperatures will be in the single digits. And then Tuesday afternoon, another very frigid start to the day. 23 below is what we're planning on. So alert days are in the forecast. You guessed it, because it's going to be so cold outside. Expecting to at least get close to that record on Monday. And again, our wind chill is really the main concern there on how dangerously cold it's going to feel for the next 3 mornings. 5 is what we're going with for our overnight low. It's a little colder than what we had this morning. Mostly cloudy sky for us overnight. For tomorrow, partly sunny, but still very cold outside. Don't let the sun deceive you. 13 degrees for our highs. Now, just 3 alert days in the forecast. Cold air, the concern for us. It really does look like a forecast for early January as opposed to early March. We should be in the upper 30s for afternoon highs, and we're nowhere near that for the next 10 days. By the end of the week, though, it will be a little more moderate outside, in the upper 20s, close to 30 for us by Friday and Saturday. Our next chance for some snow will come in also as we head into Friday and Saturday.
What a start to the week.
Yeah, in like a lion. So we're just going to hold off, see what comes at the end of the month.
All right. I hope it's sunshine.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you, Dana. Well, there was a storm brewing at the Kohl Center today. The Badgers making it rain. 3s. Highlights coming up next in sports. And first on Fox at 9, an Ohio hospital is under investigation after dozens of patients died from, quote, significantly excessive doses of fentanyl. We'll talk to family members who lost a loved one tonight at 9.
Well, earlier this week, Dimitri Trice told us how important the players on the bench are and how depth is going to be so important this late in the season, because those guys outside of the starting five will be needed. And that couldn't have been more true today. Wisconsin hosting Penn State, a team that has won their last 3 games. But first, the team honoring this wonderful human being, Otto Poles, being recognized for his 55 years of service as Wisconsin's official scorekeeper. The scores table now bears his name. And then this guy, Kobe King, told us after the game how badly he wanted to get this win for Otto, and it showed. In the corner, they're knocking down 3. And then later, Kobe again, driving through the lane for the lay-in. Whew. He led the team with 7 points in the first half. Not to be outdone, Ethan Happ passing the ball to Khalil Iverson. You know what's coming here. 2 hands, Iverson with 6 in the game. In the second half now, Happ coming to life offensively. The one-handed bucket per usual. Happ with 14 points in the game. But who led the team in points today? Another guy off the bench, Brevin Pritzel. Just could not miss from 3 today. Knocked down 4 of them in the game. He scored 17 points tonight to help the Badgers win 61-57. And afterwards, Penn State head coach Pat Chambers said Pritzel made the difference for Wisconsin, and the guys in red definitely agreed.
Sparked us, there's no doubt. And I think he's done that at various times during the year. Kobe's done that. I thought even Charlie's 2.5 minutes today, even though he didn't score, I thought he changed the physicality of the game in terms of what was not going our way.
Anytime Brevin hits a shot, you know, they're yelling, stay hot, and because he's one of the best shooters I've ever seen. And, you know, I tell him all the time, you know, stop passing the ball, shoot the ball type of thing. But, yeah, to your point, the aspect of the bench and everyone being involved as a team, whether it's out of a timeout or coming into a timeout and everyone's clapping and cheering you on and stuff, obviously it makes you feel better.
I mean, I was just feeding off everybody else. I mean, Ethan got me going in the first half. He got me the good ball, hitting the corner. And then I kind of just followed Brad. Every time Brad drove, my guy was looking to help. So I kind of just snuck around, you know, get the open spots, hit the shots.
The Badgers have now won 20 games this season. Next up, it's senior night on Thursday at the Kohl Center. Wisconsin will host a Fran McCaffrey-less Iowa squad at 6 p.m. Stone Wrestling appearing in its 10th straight team finals. The Vikings won it last year. They're looking to repeat as team state champions this year. We start at 113 pounds. State champion Nicolas Rivera doing work with 3 back points. He gets the 17-3 major decision. Vikings up early 4-0. Now to 120 pounds, Dante Steinmetz with the big first period pin. And then Cade Spildy at 160 pounds, throwing his opponent and getting the 3rd period fall. Stoughton captures back-to-back titles with a 42-24 win over Mukwonago. Now on to Division III, a rematch of last year's finals as Fenimore taking on Stratford. At 126 pounds, Fenimore's Alex Birchman with the cradle and the pin in the first period. Then Aiden Nutter at 138 pounds for the Golden Eagles. He gets the takedown early in the first period, winning the match 10-4. To 182 now, Fenimore's Will Ainen with the trip and the takedown. He wins the major decision, and the Golden Eagles get revenge on Stratford. They are state champs in D3, winning a tight one, 31-24. Girls basketball teams across the state trying to punch a ticket to the state tournament at the Rush Center. Semifinals start this Thursday. In Division I, second-ranked Middleton upsetting top-ranked Sun Prairie 60-45. To some highlights now in Division II, 2-time defending state champion and top-ranked Beaver Dam taking on Notre Dame. Beavers down by 7 early, but picking it up thanks to Tara Stoffaker. The Wisconsin commit knocking down 3, Beaver Dam up by 2. Later, Paige Schumann driving in the lane. The bucket no good, but Allie Van Loo there for the board and the putback. Beaver Dam in the lead by 3 now. And adding to it late in the half, Schumann open in the corner. She's not going to miss this time. Drains this one. Beaver Dam heading to state again, 68-40, the final score. In Division III, Monroe facing Milton for a trip to state on the line. Second half, Monroe's Megan Benchel with the shot fake, dribble, and then with the J, Cheesemakers up by 16. Later on, Milton's Abby Campion finding Chloe Boucher. She lays in the 2. Redhawks cut the lead to 10. And then Sydney Hilliard finding Sydney Updike for the 3 ball. Milton can't keep up here. Monroe gets the win 62-51. To Division IV now, Platteville and Marshall looking for a trip to the Rush Center next weekend. First half, Marshall's Anna Lutz from downtown. Cardinals with the early lead. Then Platteville's Josie Nees. She is a thief in the night, steals it away. She passes it up to Sammy Martin, who takes it in for 2. Hillman, they are fighting back. But Marshall was too much for Platteville in the end. Mia Morrell with the step back three. Marshall wins 78-61. More Division 4 action. This time, former Badger Bronson Koenig in the house in Verona, cheering on his alma mater, Aquinas, against Belleville. Wildcats ball here. Mickey Sample, then to Ava Foley. She drives it in for the layup, but Belleville would still be in the deficit. And then later on, Jenna Schrader would go to Rachel Hatola, and she would go up. She misses the ball, gets the rebound, but Belleville ends up losing 89-53. In Division 5, top seed Blackhawk looking for another trip to state, taking on Independence, and it showed here. They came out on fire. Natalie Leutzinger in the corner for the long ball. Blackhawk up by double digits. The Warriors running away with this one off the turnover here. Bailey Butler, she is ahead of everybody else. Sweet lay in there. Blackhawk dominating for another trip to state, 70-39, the final. We've still got some boys sectionals tonight, too. This is what we call the Bidati, busiest day of the year, so lots going on today.
Thanks for joining us.